Salut tout le monde, je m'appelle Reva Zoshi et je suis votre enseignante de français à Language Fluent. Good morning everyone, I am Reva Zoshi and I am your French tutor at Language Fluent, and in today's video we are going to look at some French pronouns, that is pronom sujet en français. Et voilà, ce sont les pronoms sujets. To give you a brief about why we use pronouns, pronouns are used to replace a proper noun in a phrase. So for example, if I am using Reva eats a cake and I want to use it, instead of Reva I want to use a pronoun, so I say she eats a cake. It's the same use in French as well, and most of the French pronouns are very relatable to the English ones, so I have given you the English corresponding meaning right beside. So to begin with, we start with je, which means I. So first person singular, je. Then there is tu, which means you. So it's only used to refer to one person and never used for a plural, because in English we use you for both, so it might get confusing. So I have written there tu, which is only used to refer to one person. So again I'll repeat, je, tu. Then there is il. So il is when you refer to a single person but masculine only, so he. Same in English. So il. Then exactly opposite of it is elle. So there is a feminine person when you're referring to, so she, which is elle. So il, elle. Then there is en. We will come back to en after we study the other pronouns, because it can get a little confusing. And there is no neuter gender in French. Let me reiterate, there is no neuter gender in French. It's either masculine or feminine, so do not confuse between en, il, elle, etc. There is only masculine and feminine. Okay, moving on, we have nous, which is we. So it's we all. So when you're representing a group of people or even more than one person, you say we. So the same thing, which is nous. Nous. Let me reiterate the pronunciations of all pronouns. Je, tu, il, elle, nous. Okay. Moving on, we have vous, which is exactly used opposite of nous, that is you all, when you're referring to a lot of people, a crowd if you're referring to, or for that matter if you're referring to more than one person, you use vous. The other use of vous is to address someone with respect. So in English it does not correspond to any pronoun because we use you for everyone. But in French, when you're addressing someone with respect, may it be an elder, a stranger, a professor, anybody, you always use vous as a sign of respect. So vous has two uses, my friends. It's either to use with respect or it is to address a crowd of people. Then there is il plural. So ILS, but the pronunciation is il. They do not pronounce the S at the end. So when you say il plural, it's basically used to refer to a group of people who are only including masculine crowd. So there is a crowd of boys, there's a group of boys you're referring to. So like in English we say they, but instead of that in French we always use il. Then elle we use to refer to a feminine crowd, exactly. And elle, again there is S is silent at the end, so it's il, elle. Then the other use of il plural is when you are referring to a mixed crowd. So again, il has two uses. Either when you are referring to a completely male crowd or you are referring to a mixed crowd, because elle plural is only for feminine crowd. So vous has two uses and il plural has two uses. Okay. Then, okay, let me just reiterate all these pronunciations of the pronouns. It's je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, ils, and elle. Now, coming back to en, like I said, en is used in spoken language for we. So, like in French, like if you want to say that nous mangeons un gâteau, so we eat a cake. So instead of that, while you speak only in spoken language, we can say on mange un gâteau instead of using nous. So en basically is used as a substitute for nous at times. Also, it is used to refer when you want to say, for example, suppose one is eating a cake. So at that point, you say, when you're referring to, when you're giving an example, you're using it as one. Exactly. So, on mange un gâteau. It can also mean so one eats a cake. Exactly like that. So, on has two uses. It can be either we eat a cake or one eats a cake. So, these are the basic pronouns in French, and I'll end the session with a little example. So, I want to say, Elise écrit en lettres. Okay, cut this example. It's again. For example, if I want to give an example, okay. So, to give an example of a pronoun, I want to say Elise mange un gâteau. So, Elise eats a cake. But to replace Elise with a pronoun, what will I use? I'll use elle singular. So, because Elise is a girl, so I'll say elle mange un gâteau instead of saying Elise mange un gâteau. So, she eats a cake. So guys, this was a brief of utilization of pronouns in French, and I hope this video was useful to all. And if you like the video, please like, share and subscribe it all, and stay tuned for more such basic French videos on Language Fluent. Thank you. Au revoir.